Hi, I'm Rice Hilmi. Today, we live in a world where people with different beliefs and ideology live together. Some of them are good, while some of them are bad. We even have one or two wars with each other just for the sake of our religion. It's called the crusade. But imagine people from all over the globe, whether they believe in what religion, no matter what religions or ideologies they believe in, imagine if they come together in harmony, in peace and respect. Well, that is pluralism.
It is the 80th century and France is having a revolution. It turned France from having a king with absolute power into a dictatorship which is led by Napoleon. The main reason why the idea of revolution existed is because of the Age of Enlightenment. This is the time where rational thinking is the main source of knowledge. This method of thinking is used in politics, religion, and even science. And it is how the idea of pluralism existed.
So actually, it's basically an idea where religions like Islam, Christianity, or Buddhism, or anything else is just basically small parts of a much bigger religion towards the same goal. These religions, each of the followers cannot say that, oh, this religion is wrong, this religion is wrong, this one is right. You cannot do that because all of it is right.
One of the most famous applications of pluralism can be seen in the Baha'i religion. It is one of the most famous religions in India, and anyone from any one of these 9 religions can come here and worship.
So this ideology sounds very good, right? Like, people living in peace together, no matter what religion and ideology you are. But does it sound as promising as it is? So I head out and meet Brother Amin, where he will elaborate further about this ideology.
Hi, my name is Amin Aiman and I am from Kuliah of Education.
Alright, Amin. So what do you think is the strength of this pluralism ideology?
Okay, for this ideology, I believe that there are some strength for this ideology. Firstly, it could unite people in a society. It is because people will respect each other's belief that leads to a harmonious situation. Now, secondly, pluralism makes people to be more open-minded. It is because they will start to understand about what other people believe and they will be less biased just because of what they do believe in their religions. So I think that is the strength of the pluralism ideology.
So, with all its strengths, this ideology must have its own weaknesses. What are the weaknesses of this ideology?
Despite the strength that I mentioned earlier, this ideology also has its own weaknesses. Firstly, this ideology is very easy to disprove. Why? Because if we take a look at the example of Prophet Isa in Islam and Jesus in Christianity, Muslims believe that Prophet Isa is a messenger of God and he is human, while the Christian believe that Jesus is the Son of God. So, how can two different ideas respect each other when the idea is totally against each other? I want you guys to think about that. Secondly, pluralism can affect someone's faith. Without they realizing it, it is against what they believe in their religion. Just like the previous example that I gave to you, how can a Muslim believe what Christian believe at the same time? It is totally against what the Muslim's teaching is all about. So I think the two weaknesses that I gave you is the major drawbacks that this ideology has.
So, I hope you have a little bit more idea about pluralism, the disadvantage and the advantage of this pluralism ideology. So, we'll see you again next time. See you later. Bye.
Malay, Chinese, Indian, Muslim, Buddhist, Christian. Which one is good? Which one is better? Or maybe not. So today I am Shahmi Izzuddin and we are going to discuss on a topic about an ideology, which is the relativism. So, relativism, it is the idea, views that are relative to differences in perception and consideration. There is no universal objective truth according to relativism. Rather, each point of view has its own truth. So now, let us learn more on the background of this ideology.
In ancient India, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism promote their own doctrine of relativism. For example, in Jainism, there is a principle known as Anakantavada, which means many-sided reality. 300 BC, Protagoras of Abdera is considered as the founder of relativism in Western world because of his statement, "Man is the measure of all things, of things which are, that they are, and of things which are not, that they are not." The 18th century of the Enlightenment era proved to be a step corner for a formal relativism whereby French philosophers and intellectuals like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Denis Diderot, and Marie-Jean-Antoine Nicolas, Marquis of Condorcet, whose writings reflected the principles and characteristics of relativism. The coinage of the term relativism comes soon after the 18th century during the era of counter-enlightenment by John Grote. A lot of German philosophers and English idealists wrote on this ideology. Some of them are Immanuel Kant and John Stuart Mill.
So far, we know what is relativism. But somehow, when we are discussing on this ideology, we should know that there are few principles of relativism. First, there are no absolute truth. Second, on the impartiality. Third, the context dependence. Fourth, the symmetry or equivalence postulate. Then, the faultless argument. The sixth, global and local relativity. And the last principle is the strong and weak relativity. In order to know more about relativism, I will be meeting Brother Izzuddin to know more on the impacts of relativism. So, Brother Izzuddin, what are the impacts of this ideology?
Relativism brings a lot of impacts to mankind's existence and history. So one of them is decolonization. So what is decolonization? Decolonization is a process when a country that is being colonized is being free or being given independence from the colonizer. So rather than viewing this from political perspective, we should view this from a very intellectual one. From here, we can see that it is not only the political state of the state, but rather it is an intellectual one, a cultural one, an identity issue where no one is better than others. In this instance, if there is a decolonization happening, so the peoples that are being colonized in the previous era is not much better or is not much worse than the colonizer. So this is where relativism comes to play in human history. The second impact can be viewed from the Declaration of Human Rights, specifically in Article 18 and Article 19. Article 18 specifically says that human has the rights of freedoms in terms of conscience and religions and also thought, while in Article 19 it is said that human has the right to be free in their opinions and sounding their voices. So as we can all infer, in relativism perspective here, this shows that there are no wrong or rights in thought or ideas or speech. So this is why we say that relativism given a lot of impact, as human rights declaration are very influential in our modern life right now.
Relativism's strength and weakness in Islamic perspective. Strength 1. Promote the mankind to be tolerant and respecting others. O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes, that you may know one another. Surah Al-Hujurat verse 13. 2. Flexibility is the major concern in any situation of a man division. Allah intends for your ease and does not intend for your hardship. Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 3. Weakness 1. No absolute truth doctrine, which is unacceptable in Islam. The true religion with Allah is only Islam. Surah Ali Imran verse 19. 2. Relativism in morality concepts are quite in accordance with Islam. God has sent me to perfect good manners and to do good deeds. Narrated by Al-Bukhari.
Now I'm going to explain about our poster, which is pluralism. As you can see, there are different images of people, which represents people's different religious beliefs. Then, there are cliff, river and also land, that represents the different approaches for each religion to reach towards the goal. Then finally, the flag on the mountain represents the ultimate goal that every pluralist believes in.
In our poster of relativism, there are two colors that you can see, red and blue in one poster. This shows that both colors are true and there is no wrong color. Second is the box in the poster. This shows that relativism cannot run from context dependency. The tree shows that from relativism, unity is created. The people around the earth shows that relativism is impartial toward anyone and anything.